大家好, kumusta? My name is Victor. In today's video, I want to show you guys how to get perfect, silky, smooth skin for your subjects, for your videos. And this is video retouching 101. And this is perfect for beauty commercials if you want to get into that. Even fashion stuff, they request this sometimes. Or just a family member that doesn't want their blemish to be seen online. So we're just going to create a few nodes. If you do want to see my full color grading workflow, check out the latest one, the color matching one, because that is the one that I'm using now. It's a little updated than before, but it's essentially the same thing. So if you want something in detail with color grading, color matching, check out that video. We're going to do color space transform. And we're gonna go with S-Log3 because I shot this in S-Log3, Sony S-Log3, and then we're gonna go to ARRI, Gamut 3 actually, and then Log C, and then from here we're gonna name it CST, and then Rec 709 conversion, and then ta-da! We're good. Okay, easy peasy. So we're gonna go through the contrast. This is exposure. One cool trick here is that we're gonna go with these 3 buttons and then editable splines. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna bring this down and then bring this up so that it lifts up the shadows a little bit. Now we're gonna bring back the contrast by getting to here and the highlights with to there. I want it a little bit brighter because this is a beauty shoot and we're gonna get that shadow back. Perfect. I find the saturation is a little bit low, so we're just gonna isolate that. Actually, everything needs to go up. So I'm just going to keep this right here. Perfect. We're going to add a node after this. I actually forgot, but this one is fairly balanced because everything was done right on set. It's just a little bit of the blacks aren't true blacks. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to log curves and we're going to see where it's lacking. So we're going to delete a little bit of the red. Do you see this? Because there's a lot of purple and orange spilling, it's casting a little bit of that on the black. So this is the balance turned off, and then this is with it on. You can see on the waveform right here that before that red is a little bit high. So all you have to do is you kind of just delete that. We start from the shadows, and since there's a little bit of the red above the white line, that means that it's not neutral yet. So we're just going to delete a little bit of that. And we ended up with -5. And the blacks are now true neutral blacks. Okay, so with this one, what we're going to do is we're going to just adjust the skin. And because this is a beauty commercial, most likely it's going to be like, the client is going to want it a little bit paler and a little brighter than this, because that's what kind of like the beauty standard look in Asia. So we're gonna change the waveform to your vector scope, and I don't see anything. What the heck? Perfect. There we go. And then what we're gonna do is we are just going to qualify the skin. Okay. So we're just going to qualify the skin and make sure that the skin tone line is on. And it looks like we're on the dot pretty good. And I'm just going to zoom in on that. Yeah, it looks like we're on pretty good skin tones, and we're just going to leave it like that. But on here, what we can do is reset this. And I don't want to see this. We're going to hue versus saturation, and we're just gonna click this guy. Give it a little bit of that desaturation, because like I said, again, they like it quite pale. And then we are going to give it a little bit of brightness. Now, I kind of don't like how it's not pushing the right value. And we're just going to go back here, get this, and move it a little bit to the pinker side. That's better. Sony's skin tones tend to shift to the yellowy side, the greener side. So we're just going to adjust it just a tiny bit. And then, like, if that's okay. And then I'm just gonna push it a little bit more, so it's a little okay. That's perfect. So this is what we started with, and we fixed the skin tones to the skin tone line, and we increased the brightness so that the clients are happy. Okay, so now this is the fun part. We have to smoothen the skin. And we might say, Victor, this looks beautiful already. Like, I don't think that we need to retouch it. But you're wrong. There's blemishes once we start going in. All right. So count. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's little bit blemishes, and that this is going on social media, and that if we go with like 100%, this is going to show. And it did show because my testing, uploading it on a test account on Instagram, the blemishes show, and that the client really wanted to smoothen the skin. So I'm going to teach you guys how to. Okay, so first, the blemishes, easy peasy. You're going to get this, and we're just going to go blemish. And what you're going to do is go to the power window, create a little circle, and now we have this. Put it on right on the dot, and put the size to a small one. Now you can't see anything. Now you just got to zoom in and make sure that it's there. And then the softening, we got to make it a little bit bigger and smaller. Now this is the easiest part. You see this box blur? You just drag it there and play with it. Okay, so I'm going to take out the power window, and it's still working, right? And look at how it's gone. Now, since it's not as smooth as we want, we can increase the size. So let me show you guys how it looks and do that. We're just going to smoothen that out. Perfect. Right there. And now we're just going to play around with that. And the blemish is gone, right? Look at that. We just deleted one. Now, since it's a video, we have to track it. Now, all you have to do is go to this tracker window and hit track forward and back. And DaVinci should know how to do it. It's not giving me the, okay, like there. Come on. Come on. Perfect. Oh, come on. All right. So we just got to check it out. It's actually not tracking well. So this is the tedious part. What we're going to do is we're just going to turn that off. And this is the culprit right here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to retrack everything. Okay. So now we just have to play around with the settings. It's a little, oh, come on. It's a little too much. There you go. It's gone. Okay. And let's track it forward. And it's losing it now, right? So if you want to add a keyframe on here, you just have to put it there. Okay. So that didn't work. We're just going to put it here. That should work now. Okay. So now it's following it. Now we got to follow it more after that, right? This guy. And then since now we're seeing a lot more clarity and it's sharper because the motion blur is there, we can just track it again. And it lost track again, which is totally fine. Okay. And then Click it right there. Okay. And then the next one, the next key point, keyframe is right here. Just gonna make sure that it's tracking well, and that should finish it. Perfect. So now if we play this back, that blemish is gone. Right here. That blemish is still there. And then we delete it, blemish is gone. And it's as easy as that. Again, it's just tedious. So we're just gonna do it on a few more on here and these guys. Okay, so now we're gonna go somewhere like the whole section of the face. We're gonna pretty much do the same thing, but we're gonna use the pen tool. Now for this guy, let's look at her face on here first. What we're gonna do is we're kind of just gonna blend in the little eye bag thing. I mean, she doesn't have any, but we want it to be smooth on that part. So what I do is kind of just like mask these and make sure that it's on her cheek. So this is kind of like one part of the face, and I'm just gonna go with a little softness, and we're gonna put it inside and outside right there. We're gonna add a little box blur on here. So now we're gonna take it out. See the difference? Like there's a massive difference. What we're gonna do though is, because that's a little too much, we are going to go a little bit just on here, just to kind of blend in the thing. That's perfect. Now we're losing quality, but that's okay because we're gonna add sharpness a little bit later, and then we're just gonna track it. And DaVinci really tracks these pretty well. See how that looks? That's perfect, right? Okay. And the mask doesn't have to be perfect because you're gonna soften it up a little bit anyways. Right there. That's good. And again, we're gonna add a little box blur on there. And let's just see how it looks. Just a little bit. Good. Now we have full control, and we will just track it. Now this is another tricky part, because the tracking, you have to manually do it because the auto tracker won't recognize that it's kind of gone. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to frame right here, and we're going to find the point where it's almost gone. So now we're just going to add a little bit of this so that it's smoother on the transition. And from here on, just going to target this. And then this is where it kind of softens up or starts to go smaller, which is we're just going to keep it. And then here we kind of just go frame by frame, just make sure that it looks good until it gets removed from the screen. This is way too much right there. Next one is decent, but we are reaching the nose. We actually reached the nose here, so we're just gonna keep it right here. That's good. Oh, the heck on? Oh, that's the thing right here. Okay, and then from here on, just the last bit. And then this is going to be gone. So we are, so what we're going to do is we are just going to get rid of the whole thing right here and make sure that the end frame is also here. So now what happens is that it just opens up. So let's take it out, and then I'm just going to exaggerate the blur strength so that you can see that it's not, it's like concentrated on that part. That's good. So now you can do this technique on most of her face. We're just gonna finish up on this side. So you can use the blemish removal technique with anything. You can use it with birthmarks over here, just track it. And you can use the kind of like softening the whole thing with the necklines as well. Sometimes that's what clients want to remove. So we're actually not done retouching her face. There's a key ingredient here that no one else talks about in terms of retouching faces, is that we're going to talk about the eyes and how to edit them. Now, look at the eyes over here. It's not really sparkling because it's not edited. It's like just how it looks on camera. But there's a really good way to do this. All right, so we're going to mask out the eye. We're going to do this and make sure this is going to here. Add a little bit of that and finish off. Perfect. Again, we're going to just go inside and we're going to do a little bit of the softness. That's good. Perfect. Eye left. Okay, perfect. Here we're just going to brighten the eyes. We're going to have the whites as kind of like sparkling white, clean white. And we are going to reduce the color boost to maybe, that's good, 17, minus 17. Increase the saturation so that the actual color of our eyes go back in there, but all the kind of like color casted, because like I said, we have a lot of orange and it casts some colors on the neutrals. So that's why we needed to clean the blacks and clean the whites as well. So now you can see kind of the difference, and we're just going to go back to highlights. We're going to go back to primary color wheels, and we're just going to bring up the highlights a little bit. Now, this is a little too much on the softness, so we're just going to bring it back. We're just going to bring it up a tiny bit. Perfect. That looks good. You see how much better the eyes are? That's perfect. And then again, we're just going to give the saturation a little bit again so that the color of her eyes go back. And we're just going to play around with the color boost. Perfect. And then we're just going to do the same with this. We're just going to track it. Hopefully DaVinci tracks it, but currently it didn't. So we're going to do frame by frame. Check it again if anything's weird. From here. Looks good. Okay. Okay. Now that we're done, we're just going to zoom out. Before, after the eyes, before, after. Now it's just more sparkly on the eye and the talent looks better. Now, after you finish retouching and color grading, this is where you can spice things up and add some overlay effects with the help of Storyblocks. With their subscription, you can get access to unlimited downloads from a library that contains over 1 million high quality and royalty-free footage. With their subscription model, you don't have to worry about paperclip costs that can quickly add up. If you need to add text and animations, they have a vast collection of pre-made motion graphic templates to enhance the production value of your videos. What I love is their clear-cut licensing and coverage. Everything in their library is 100% royalty-free, so you can distribute your videos with no restrictions. To get started with unlimited stock media downloads at one set price, head to storyblocks.com/Victor Laforteza or click the link in the description. So she's almost done. Just finishing touches is the beauty filter. The beauty filter, why I just don't use this overall. This is a really quick and easy way to kind of just finesse everything. But for me, it's kind of like a little bit too much. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go to the flatten on under Ultra Beauty, and we're just going to go full. And we are just going to reduce the strength on this one and then see the difference. Let's go on here. Because if we leave it towards like 80% strength, you can see that her skin starts to kind of just become a painting. So we're just going to remove this on here, let it load a little bit. And then we're going to go texture recovery. Okay, that's not too bad. I'm going to add it a little bit more on there. Even detail recovery. And again, we're just going to bring it back down. Takes a while. Like, it uses a lot of computing power, so it takes a while. All right. Okay, and then we're just gonna leave it at maybe 25%, 30%, and I think it looks perfect. Her face is like perfectly smooth, and that the blemishes are all gone, and her eyes are sparkling as well, so that you can really focus on the whole look. Okay, so here's what we started with, and here's what we finished. It's gonna load up. There you go. Not bad. Silky smooth, perfect skin. My actual file, I had a lot of nodes. Like, this is all of my nodes. And then if you want to show the compound node, there's a lot more on here. And then painting it, I had a lot more stuff to cover. So that's the gist of it. And that's how I make perfect skin on my beauty commercials. And that's how I do it for my client work. Hope you learned something new. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment down below. And as usual, I'm giving away my Sunset Film Lot Pack. And all you have to do to win is comment down below, what's that one thing that you've learned in this video? I'd love to know. If you want a detailed version of how I color grade, click on this video right here. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. No,